490 BC, the shoreline near Athens, and the sea starts spitting out ships. Not a few, not a raid. I'm talking a Persian invasion force so huge it looks like the horizon is moving, and it lands at Marathon with one mission: crush Athens and bury a brand new experiment called democracy before it even has time to grow. And here's the insane part. Athens is outnumbered more than 2 to 1. No cavalry, no archers, no backup, at least not yet. So what do? They bet everything on a plan that sounds like a joke, or a suicide. How does a city of farmers and craftsmen in bronze armor smash an empire in a single morning? Let's rewind, because the lead-up is just as wild. A few years earlier, Greek cities in Ionia on the coast of Asia Minor tried to break free from Persian rule. Spoiler, it went terribly. But Athens and Eretria, trying to be heroic, sent ships to help their Ionian cousins. It wasn't a huge force, but it was enough to insult the wrong man. Because Persia's king, Darius I, didn't get over it. He collected grudges like trophies. So he makes a vow: Athens will pay. By 491 BC, Persian heralds start showing up across Greece demanding earth and water, a polite way of saying submit now, or we'll take it from your ashes. Most city-states look at the size of Persia and think, yeah, no thanks, we like living. They comply. But Athens? Sparta? They choose violence, in the most symbolic way possible. Athens and Sparta throw the envoys into pits and wells. Basically, here's your earth, here's your water. Now go tell your king what we think. At that moment, war stops being possible. It becomes guaranteed. By midsummer 490 BC, the threat becomes real. A massive Persian fleet, hundreds of sleek warships, crosses the Aegean carrying something like 25,000 soldiers plus cavalry. And riding with them is a dangerous passenger, Hippias, Athens' exiled tyrant, a bitter man who wants his old throne back. He's whispering in Persian ears. Some Athenians will welcome you. They'll open the gates. You'll be heroes. First, Persia makes an example out of Athens' ally, Eretria. Quick siege. Brutal end. City burned. The message is visible in smoke. You're next. Then the Persians anchor at Marathon Bay, about 26 km from Athens. And the location is not random. Marathon is flat, wide, perfect for cavalry, and the bay is deep enough to keep ships supplied for weeks. This landing screams, we're not visiting, we're moving in. Inside Athens, it's chaos. 10 elected generals argue non-stop, and every option sounds like disaster option 1. Hide behind the city's defenses and pray Sparta arrives in time. But how long can Athens hold against an empire? Option 2. March out and fight in open ground, where you'll probably get slaughtered. Option 3. Do something completely new. Something so aggressive it borders on madness. And the man pushing that third option is Miltiades, a hardened commander who has actually seen how Persia fights. He knows the Persian recipe: drown enemies in arrows, then send cavalry to finish the job. Miltiades' answer is simple: don't let them cook. Even before the armies clash, Athens sends a runner, Hoplites, on a mission that sounds impossible. Run to Sparta, around 240 km, in about 2 days, to beg for help. The Spartans don't refuse, but religion blocks them. They can't march until the full moon. Athens doesn't have full moon time. Athens has we might be dead next week time. So they raise every able-bodied citizen they can, roughly 9,000 hoplites, heavy infantry and bronze, and their loyal allies from Plataea send about 1,000 more. Total Greek force, about 10,000. No cavalry, no archers, just heavy infantry, against an empire. They march at dawn and reach the hills overlooking Marathon, where they see Persian campfires scattered like a second sky on the earth below. Awe, terror, and one thought pounding in every skull. How do we beat that? To understand why the Greeks even have a chance, you have to understand what a hoplite really is. A hoplite isn't a lone warrior, he's a piece of a machine. He wears A bronze helmet that turns your head into a fortress. A massive round shield that overlaps your neighbor's. Body armor made of bronze or layered linen. Greaves protecting the shins. A long spear for stabbing. And a short sword for when things get messy. Then they lock together, shoulder to shoulder, forming the Phalanx. A moving wall of shields and spear points. It's not flashy. It's not flexible. But when it hits you, it hits like a battering ram made of men. Now compare that to the Persian system. Their front line includes shield bearers with large wicker shields, great against arrows, terrible against heavy spears. Many wear lighter armor, cloth or leather, because Persia fights differently. Behind them are elite archers with powerful composite bows, trained to fill the sky with death. And the real nightmare on open ground is Persian cavalry, mounted archers and lancers who can circle, harass, and shatter formations once they start to break. So in modern terms, the Greeks are like armored trucks that win up close. The Persians are like fast vehicles with ranged weapons that kill you before you reach them. Miltiades' problem is simple. How do you get the armored trucks into melee without being erased by arrows and cavalry first? For more than a week, both armies sit and watch each other across the plain. The Greeks stay near higher ground, where cavalry can't easily outflank them. The Persians camp by the beach with supplies flowing in. No one rushes. It's a silent pressure cooker. Greek morale swings between two extremes. We're going to get surrounded and wiped out. Or we should attack now and end the misery. Meanwhile, the Persian commanders, Datis and Artaphernes, make a deadly assumption. The Greeks will never charge us. They're outnumbered. They'll stay up there. So Persia prepares a clever move. They plan to send cavalry by ship around the coast to strike Athens directly, while the Greek army is stuck at Marathon. It's a classic strategic trick. Win the war without fighting the main army. And it might have worked if the Greeks weren't about to do something completely unreasonable. On the 9th morning, scouts bring Miltiades strange news: fewer campfires in the Persian camp. And more importantly, fewer horses. The Persian cavalry appears to be gone, or at least reduced. Miltiades realizes what's happening. Persia is likely moving cavalry to hit Athens, so he gathers the generals and presses the point. If we wait, we lose. If we move now, we fight on our terms. Then he unveils a plan so backwards it feels wrong. Instead of reinforcing the center, like every sensible commander would, he does the opposite. He thickens the wings, and he thins the center. Why? Because he expects Persia's best troops to push the center hard. He wants them to break through, into a trap. As Persia surges forward, the Greek wings will smash the flanks and then curl inward like jaws. A double envelopment, a giant human nutcracker. And Miltiades adds one more insane twist. The Greeks will advance, and at the last moment, they will run. A full sprint, in bronze armor, across uneven ground, just to shorten the time Persian archers have to shoot them. If cavalry is still there, this is suicide. But if cavalry is gone, this is the punch that changes history. The signal goes out. Trumpets slice the air. 10,000 hoplites begin descending from the hills. From the Persian perspective, it probably looks normal, at first. Persian archers prepare for the usual slow approach. They notch arrows, expecting time. Then the Greeks break into a run. Not a jog, not a quick step. A terrifying aggressive sprint, bronze flashing under the morning sun. Arrows rise in clouds, shafts hiss down like black rain. Some men fall, but many arrows clatter off shields and helmets, because the Greeks are moving too fast, too tight, too committed, and in minutes, shockingly fast. They slam into the Persian line. The impact is thunder. Bronze spears punch through wicker shields. The phalanx shoves like a living engine. The Greeks roar, not like professionals, but like men defending everything they own. At first, Persia seems to be winning. The Greek center, deliberately thin, buckles under pressure. Hoplites step back, giving ground, and for a moment, the Persians believe it. They're breaking. Push. But the Greek center isn't collapsing. It's retreating on purpose, slowly, disciplined, controlled. It's making space. A vacuum. A baited opening that invites Persia forward, while the real damage is happening on the sides. On both Greek wings, the lines are deep, heavy, powerful, unstoppable. They smash into lighter Persian troops and start driving them back hard. Persian formations bend, then snap. Once the flanks are broken, the Greek wings pivot inward, clean, rehearsed, brutal. And suddenly, Persia's best troops in the center realize something too late. They pushed forward into the open. And now they're being swallowed. The nutcracker closes. Greek shields slam into Persian sides. Spears stab into packed ranks. Wicker splinters. The Persian center, once confident, starts to panic. Then the entire Persian line unravels. Men turn. Men run. The retreat becomes a rout. Everything collapses toward the beach. The battle is short, maybe 2 hours, but it's savage. The plain of Marathon becomes a killing ground. Persian dead spread across kilometers. Ancient sources claim around 6,400 Persian losses. Maybe exaggerated, but clearly catastrophic. Greek losses are shockingly low, around 192 Athenians and 11 Plataeans. The Persians scramble to evacuate, dragging survivors to ships. Greeks seize mooring ropes, trying to prevent escape. In the chaos, they capture only a handful of vessels. Most ships pull away and flee. But here's the twist. The Persians aren't done. Not yet. They still believe Athens might be unguarded. So the fleet sails south, hoping to take the city while the Greek army is stuck at Marathon. Miltiades guesses the move. Immediately, he orders the exhausted Hoplites to march back to Athens. Fast. Imagine it. You just fought for your life. Your armor is soaked in sweat. Your legs are shaking. Your friends are dead behind you. And now you have to sprint history again, this time with your feet. They cover the 26 km back at a brutal pace, and they arrive just as Persian masts appear in the bay. The Persians see the hoplites standing ready, grim, unmoving, alive. The surprise is gone. The city isn't open. And for the first time, the Persian commanders hesitate. They weigh the risk. Then they turn away. The invasion fails. Athens survives. So how did this happen? Why did a smaller force win? It wasn't magic. It was a perfect storm. Armor and equipment. Bronze shields and heavy protection beat wicker and light gear in close combat. Discipline and formation. The Phalanx wasn't just strong, it was unified. A single soldier failing matters. 1,000 holding matters more. Terrain and positioning. The Greeks used ground that limited cavalry impact and kept flanks safer. Speed. The crazy sprint. That run shortened the archer kill zone and forced melee quickly. Leadership. Miltiades' brain over Persia's numbers. Thinned center. Reinforced wings. Planned envelopment. He turned a slaughter into a trap. Motivation and morale. These were citizens defending homes, families, freedom, and a political identity. Persia fought because a king commanded it. When fear hits hard, purpose matters. Marathon did more than save Athens. It proved something the ancient world needed to learn. A disciplined heavy infantry force, fighting with unity, could smash a superpower. Greek warfare shifts. Training intensifies. Phalanxes evolve. Spear lengths grow. And across Persia's empire, whispers start. If Persia can bleed, maybe Persia can fall. A generation later, Xerxes returns with a larger invasion. Thermopylae. Salamis. Plataea. But Marathon is where the myth cracked first. Now, you probably know the famous image. A lone runner racing from Marathon to Athens, announcing victory and dying dramatically. It's iconic. It's powerful. But here's the twist. Our main source, Herodotus, doesn't describe that death run. What he does record is the earlier sprint, Phytopides running to Sparta for help. The dramatic victory run then collapse becomes popular later in other writers' accounts. So, is it history or legend? Maybe both. Because even if the details are fuzzy, the spirit is real. The human body pushed beyond limits, carrying a message larger than one life. And modern marathons still carry that echo, 26.2 miles of stubborn endurance. After marathon, Athens doesn't relax. It builds a navy, it forms alliances, it becomes more confident and eventually more ambitious. But it also gains something priceless: time. Time for drama, philosophy, architecture, political experiments, the foundations we often group under Western civilization to develop. All because a few thousand farmers in bronze armor decided to run straight at an empire. Not bad for a plan that, according to tradition, was basically drawn in dirt. So that's Marathon, a story where brains beat numbers, discipline beats fear, and a single audacious decision rewrites the future. Next time you go for a run, or next time you cast a vote, pause for a second and remember. Some of the freedoms you take for granted trace back to one September morning, when 10,000 Greeks chose the most impossible option. Because sometimes, the fight for freedom doesn't start with a speech. It starts with a charge.